Hello and welcome to the IGN UK podcast. I'm joined by Rory Powers,
Duck Hunt,
Daniel Cooper.
Hello.
And I'm Alex Simmons.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh,
sorry.
I didn't know what we were doing.
There we go.
Just building
up
our intro a little bit.
I liked it.
We should have like WWE intros.
Do you think?
Where, we're like, I'll take a sip of water and then do the thing where it
Oh,
shoots in the
like
air and
rude
fry the
mic.
mics and...
The Powers Fountain.
Yeah.
Is that your finishing move?
Yeah, the Powers Fountain. Yeah, I'm not going to go any further into that, actually. Fine, it's good.
Now, we've been spending way too much time
At the Powers Fountain.
worshipping the Powers Fountain.
Getting sprinkled by the Powers Fountain.
There's room for everyone.
Playing Rocket League. Now, Rocket League kind of came out of nowhere, really.
Yeah.
It's on this month's PlayStation Plus, if you've got it.
Yeah.
And we started playing it at the beginning of this week, and I've barely stopped.
Yeah, because I first heard about it at E3, because I think it was there, and people were like, what's this? Like, nobody had heard of it. Like, what's this? Like, what is it? Car football game?
Yeah.
Like, car
It's such
soccer
a basic
game?
premise,
Car
yeah.
soccer game?
Essentially,
And it
yeah.
just sounds like silly, and then it's obviously a great thing that it's part of PS Plus, because it's a game that thrives on lots of people just being online
Yeah,
wanting to play it.
totally.
Everyone's playing it. I saw stats, something like over 100,000 people are on the servers.
Right.
And, like, have downloaded it or at it. And it's just so Moorish. It's so good.
It is a whole lot of fun. So that is basically in a nutshell. Like, it's car soccer or car football if you're from England, and
Or from the rest of the world.
from the rest of the world. That's true. Yes.
So, car soccer it is. Settled.
You're from Northern Ireland, mate. Stop it.
Can't exactly...
But I think we've been playing it kind of 2-on-2, but it's anything up to 4-on-4.
Yeah, although in the menu it says 4, it kind of subtitles as chaos. So I
Right.
almost feel that's not the preferred way.
Yeah.
I think 3-on-3 is the standard. And we've been playing a lot of doubles just because you can
Yeah.
play split screen. One of the things I really like about it is, it's going to sound an absurd thing to say, but bear with me. It feels more like playing actual football than FIFA. It doesn't look like it,
Yeah.
but bear with me. Because FIFA...
Because you run around with a little hat
Because the
on.
FIFA, you rarely have to worry about position all that
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Because when you're on the wing, your striker, powered by AI, is running into the middle, taking up positions, and you cross it in, and you're like judging what to do minute to minute with the person who's about to receive the ball. Whereas this is much like when you play football and you've got to like use space
Yeah.
and anticipate where the ball might break
And
get
protect your
into
goal.
that position.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, because it has been a while since I've actually played a FIFA game. But I mean, you can swap from player to player, right?
Freely, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
one thing you don't have
That's
in Rocket League is that
So you're playing your position,
defender,
yeah.
and
you see the pitch from that perspective. So you look like, sometimes I always play with ball cam on, pretty much all the time.
I rarely.
Really?
Sometimes I'll do free
I
roam
can't-
with the with it
interesting.
on, but I want to.
But
But
like
when
when
that
you
means you're locked on the ball at all
Yeah.
yeah,
times.
and then when you see the ball dropping from the sky, it's like you're looking up for a header, and like the way you miss it, it's like it's
Yeah.
really good. And
A gracious barrel
It's
roll.
hard. Like you don't hit all the time. There's
Yeah.
a lot of errors.
Yeah. But
I do feel I'm getting better.
Especially-
when
in
you
our
do get
games,
it
yeah.
right, it's like majestic because there is the basic level to Rocket League, and that is just running in and hitting the ball as hard as you can
Yeah.
towards the goal. But then, advanced tactics like jumping in the air, angling up, and then rocket boosting in through the sky, which
we have not mastered yet.
Rich was doing it this morning,
But it's still,
Yeah.
while I can do it, I just don't like. That's a lot of anticipation, knowing where that ball's going to
Yeah.
be.
yeah.
and
You
even
can
when
steer in the air.
Yeah, but like knowing that it's going to go so
I know,
high,
I know.
and when you
But I
miss,
think we'll
you
get
take
there.
yourself out
Yeah.
of the game as well because you go soaring like through the other person's net. If you miss it, then you're pretty much ruined. So it's pretty bad. I was kind of getting the hang of the jump and then use your second jump to jolt off at a
'Cause you
separate
can-
angle.
It's really worth saying, like, do the tutorials, because there's lots of additional moves in there that
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't really work out. Eventually you could, but there's a lot of, like, side swiping, and you can like tap it in like by nudging right and left, and shooting practice, which really helps.
Yeah.
But it's just fun.
Yeah.
And there's lots of like little weird games that emerge because you can collect boosts going around the map. And if you get 100% boost and you're at full speed, you can explode another player
Yeah.
on the opposing team, which is quite good.
And the other thing about it is there's obviously lots of cars, lots of kind of additional collectibles, so different decals for your cars, paint jobs, hats, aerials, etc. But
Hat
they don't
jobs.
really
Love my
make
hats.
much of a difference. Obviously, the size of your car will make an impact
Yeah.
because you'll have a bigger
So
car. to either block or hit.
current loadout you
I recently switched back to the Merc, which is like a A-team style van. I've got a hot pink paint job Looks pretty goddamn good. Yellow flames. No, is it flames or lightning?
I
think it might be lightning.
character. What is it? What is that?
Check the script.
What you got? A hat? A cherry topper?
I've got a cherry topper, and
Nice.
I've got
Nice.
a snowman aerial. And then the paint job. What was the paint job? It looks like it's made of carpet, but it's
Oh,
supposed
it's
to be,
worn. It's like worn paint.
yeah, it's like, supposed to be like warm, but
the
it looks
texture is
like
really
the
bad.
felt of
So you've gone for a kind of a bit of a restrained kind of look. You're like, how much crap can I stick on my car?
And then he's got a Tron style exhaust, which is like a
Nice.
light
I've
beam.
seen that.
It's really cool.
Yeah. So if I unlocked it at lunchtime
It's like a
today.
straight beam that just
I
like
didn't notice
falls out.
that.
It's really, really
Can we go
cool.
play now?
What are we doing
We
here?
can after. Well, you've got to record Super Show after this. But anyway, the thing that kind of got me thinking about, and recently Halo 5 has dropped split screen, but it's just I can't remember the last time I played a split screen game and had so much fun, because I was definitely one of those people that was saying, do you know what, split screen is dead.
Because before we played it as well at lunch, at our desk, like I was kind of like, oh, can we not just come into the studio and set it up so we all have a screen each,
Yeah.
and have that extra, like, I just wanted a bigger screen.
Yeah.
I actually don't miss it at all. I actually quite like seeing what my other players doing.
Yeah.
Like, on
Yeah,
my
yeah,
team.
it's quite
Yeah.
nice.
It's quite handy.
Well, because obviously part of the tactic is kick off and getting to the ball first. You can actually score very easily if you get to the ball first. But it's figuring out who's going to go for the ball, who's going
to stay in defence, because also being in defence is not easy as well. Like one of the most fun things in the game is when the ball's trickling across the goal mouth, and like both attack
Everyone's just flying
and
in
defence,
from every
like on
direction.
different teams can't even get to it.
Yeah.
And it's just the panic that sets in, because you
Yeah.
know it's right there. Because
so
and that's
much
where
fun.
being a car is brilliant, because you can't just strafe.
Yeah, well, that's
it.
you
You've
see
got
it
to
to the
rewind.
side,
Like,
yeah.
I've started reversing a lot.
Yeah.
And using
Yeah.
kind of the handbrake turn to try and
Yeah.
reverse quickly and get myself an angle to then accelerate. But all that stuff, because it can be right next to you and
Yeah.
you can't quite get to
So
it.
I have done bits like in Austin Powers where you do like a 15-point turn trying to get round onto it. And it's like there's got to be a better way of doing it.
Like
than
my
this.
least favorite bit is when it goes into the corners, because the you're basically enclosed,
Yeah.
and the edges of the map, for people who haven't played it, are curved.
Yeah.
So no matter where the ball goes, it's always going to roll down and go back into play at a
Yeah.
different angle. When you're in where the corners would traditionally be, and it happens all the time in matches. It kind of just goes into the corner, pops up, and you
Yeah.
go to hit it, and you think, I'm going to get this out, and it just kind of just falls over your head, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh no, it's still there.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
And then when you see because everyone messes up as well. It's not like everyone's flawless, so everyone's
The
fallible.
bots are pretty good.
The bots are good, but when you see if you're in attack and your mate's in defence, and he's got this, and the ball's in it, he doesn't have that, does he? And he just jumps over it.
I think that's the premise of the game. No one ever is
my
in
God.
full control of that ball.
Because we
It's-
play it a lot now, and I still misjudge stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that's at 100% chance of going in is when Alex is shooting at our own net. Then I know for a fact that it is going to go in.
That's a bit of smack.
From my teammate. Oh my god.
What did we lose 3-1?
One
due to
game.
to-
One game that was. Are you not allowed to have one bad game?
Well, you know what? It wouldn't
Do you
have-
think that's what
It
Alex
wouldn't have
Ferguson
happened if
used to
the
do?
Freedom Mobile was on defense. Because nothing
He's
gets
I'm
He's
gonna
done.
American, isn't
swap-
he?
I'm gonna swap
That's the
sides.
American in him.
I'm gonna swap
That's what
sides.
happens when I put a little American flag on there, and I've
I'm
got
just gonna
a little monster
boost you
truck.
from behind and break you into.
What are you gonna do in Rocket League?
Yeah.
To the fountain.
Yeah.
It all comes full circle.
screw
Back to
your
the
powers,
fountain.
Do you think we should step it up a gear and do 3v3? And I want to see what that's like. So we've only done 3v3 online with bots and strangers,
Yep.
whereas communication is really good. I'd like to see the tactics that would then emerge, whether we'd have defense, someone in deep midfield, and then someone in strike. That'd be quite fun.
So does 3v3 work with split screen? Can you split or?
Well, I guess
you
if
need
we
to
had a
have, like,
third
additional-
person, a
Yeah.
third screen, maybe you could they would just pick one person would pick orange, one would pick blue on that screen. I think they would
Yeah, maybe,
be able
yeah.
to. Because I think when we're playing against each other, I could be. This is really boring for people listening about the specifics of how we're.
I'm sure they're
game.
interested in it. The fundamentals of the IGN.
So in
UK.
options, I have aim.
But it's I think one of the kind of cool things. But I've totally forgotten what I was talking about. You were saying
so
something.
convincing. You're running with
Is
it.
it something about the Rockets or the leagues?
I can't remember.
The pitches.
Well, I've
It's
always
gone.
been kind of a campaigner for split screen because obviously, like, I grew up with a brother and a sister. Both we all would play video games together, so we kind of grew up on it, like GoldenEye, things for the Nintendo 64, Mario Karts, and that kind of stuff. And even up till recently, Borderlands has a
Yeah, that had
local
it.
split
Yeah,
screen.
yeah.
So much fun to play if you have a friend over. And I mean, it's equally fun to play online if you're playing online with your friends. But I don't know, it would be an experience I'd really miss. And Halo is a great example. That was one of the reasons I bought Halo when I first got my Xbox 360 was because of local split screen.
Yeah.
And I think the other game I bought at the time was Call of Duty 4, I think was the other big one that came out. And it didn't have split screen play for online. So it meant every time we wanted to play COD, we would have to play an hour and the other person would swap.
One
and
of them
play an
had
hour.
Spec Ops split
Spec Ops
screen.
split. It was and it wasn't even half and half. It was like in the
The
corners.
weird vertical
Yeah,
ones,
yeah.
yeah. So it seems so strange for Halo to drop it because it's been such like a pinnacle point of their online multiplayer.
People, or which to say, while split screen is excellent and a lot of fun, done badly, it's incredibly frustrating.
Of course, yeah.
So the old Lego games, the new ones, if like one person runs one way and the other person runs in the opposite way, the screen tears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you kind of get split screen. Then when they're on the same, like close,
Or
it
merges.
unites and becomes
Yeah.
one screen. But in the old ones, it used to like drag the screen or and
Drag
it's-
the player.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's just like if you're playing with someone, and I think those games like people with mixed abilities might play them, i.e., parents and kids. That could be quite frustrating.
But that happens on the Mario platform or on the Wii U, whatever that's called. I can't remember what it's
Or
called.
Super Mario Bros.
Super Mario Bros.
Or
Wii
Super
U.
Mario Land 3D. Super Mario World 3D.
The latest one,
Okay.
because I've been playing that with Scarlett.
The 2D or 3D one.
It is the world is 3D. No, it's 3D. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And but that happens like you get dragged off, like
Yeah.
especially if you go down a pipe or something like that, and then you go up into your little bubble and are pulled across. But hey, look, I just think.
Hey, game.
Do you
pulled off
think,
in
as a
multiplayer.
Halo fan, that
Yeah.
they've kind of missed a trick, or
Yes.
do you think actually it's time just to kind of accept that, especially for a shooter where reaction times and seeing is everything. Obviously, Rocket League is very simple, but you want to see anything.
Well,
wow.
to some-
There's depth there. There's depth. We've
Yeah,
only
but-
begun to tap the surface of Rocket League.
But I would
Wait
say
Wait till next week.
It's
for the Rocket
it's
League podcast.
6 cars and a ball.
Because we've mooted about transforming the IGN UK podcast post 300.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to turn it into a Rocket League
I
podcast.
think
We've got
so.
a fire team chat.
Weekly, yeah.
Rocket League chat.
Yeah.
Rocket League chat. I
We're
like
going
it.
to call it Top Beer. And we'll drink beer while talking about Rocket League. I'm freestyling here. It's
Rocket-
not all going to be gold.
Rocket Power podcast. That sounds kind of cool. Rocket Power.
It's all about you, isn't it?
That was an intentional time.
gonna host it?
Unintentional. If needs be, Alex.
Rocket
if needs
Power.
be.
You probably need
we
to
should
get a
hol-
bit better at the
We should
game.
hold a tournament, and whoever comes out on top is the host of Rocket League.
Oh, that's me then.
And he can have like a car that drives about. It'd be amazing. Like a little host car. Like the ones that kids have that you sit in.
When we move office, you're not getting your own go-kart.
Damn it. It's all part of the ploy. I think they did miss an opportunity.
Yeah.
I think split screen is such a huge part of Halo and has been in the past. I can only assume it was technical limitations.
Yeah.
Is why they couldn't do it. Frame rates dropping
what
or
did
things
they
like
say
that.
something about?
I don't know why they would have taken it out. Because it's such a huge part of Halo, and it's just Halo just has this feel, at least for me, of like coming together with your friends and
Yeah.
having some beers and snacks and playing literally on the same TV, and it's so much more fun
Yeah.
than playing by yourself with a mic in your face. So
I'm sorry.
Rory, can you just... Rory,
that's not sad.
You play by yourself with Mike in your face. I'm sorry.
He gets the power shower. Yeah.
is he a big Halo fan?
Look, I think the moral of this story is that if you're not playing Rocket League, you absolutely should be. And if
Game of the
you're
year.
online, yeah, Game of the Year, right?
We're
here.
calling it. We're calling it.
If you're online, then you should try and find us. I am Bug Stomper. You are D Cruz.
D-Cruise.
You are
I think I'm Link Rory. I have to check.
okay. Anyway,
I've been playing as Luke this whole time. I'm getting him all these cool hats
see,
and
I've
cars.
turned semi-pro now.
I hate that
pretty
so
good.
much. I want to get pro. You guys are gonna come in the morning, and I'll have already been here for 2 hours with my black coffees and my little go-kart rocket car, playing away. I'll make pro.
There you go. Looking at the stuff that's good this week, or red hotty, Obviously,
This is the
Imagine
weirdest.
the
This
first
is
time
the
you've
furthest one yet.
ever listened to this podcast.
Right, Hardy.
if you want to come up with some suggestions, you
I think it's good. I'm just saying the wider thing that this is now really.
the one-
I reckon we could do a whole year's worth of these.
So
also.
the one for bad news is really.
This is what I was going to say. I get Red Hottie. I'm not quite sure, but we can move on to that
what?
one now.
You don't understand. So,
No, we'll get on to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Save it.
So obviously Rocket
Be funny,
League
yeah.
is the hottest thing going this week. But I really enjoyed the Spectre trailer as well. I knew you were
I
a little
didn't
bit
dislike it.
lukewarm.
I didn't dislike it.
Ooh.
I just don't want to be cast as this person who hated it.
It's just that you did hate it.
I just didn't
Was
quite
it-
do
well,
it for
I'm-
me.
So you said
I
it
liked
lacked
it.
that wow moment.
I think so. I like the like. That's not to say I didn't like the overall tone.
Yeah.
That I'm still really looking forward to that film. Skyfall is my favorite Bond movie. I'm really excited about it. It
Yeah.
just, and in a sense, I appreciate the fact that it's not like every other trailer where it's like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
But it just, I thought it looked great, but there wasn't one moment that I can remember as being like, I was going to swear then.
Yeah.
But you know that
But
F me
I
moment.
like that because if
But
you
in
look
this-
at like Mission Impossible, whatever the new one's called, and obviously it's Tom Cruise.
Yeah, that's
completely
and,
on the
and
plane.
ridiculous, and that could be the best thing in that movie.
Exactly.
Of course.
Whereas it feels like the whole movie has just got this brooding atmosphere and tone,
definitely.
and I'm like, and I wasn't excited for
Yeah.
it before that, and after that trailer, I'm like, actually, I'm ready for another Bond. It's
Yeah,
exciting.
so I like the one in Skyfall. Just at the end, there's a little bit where he drops into the train and he just adjusts his
Yeah, yeah,
cufflinks.
yeah,
And for
yeah.
me, that's the Bond wow
Yeah.
moment. It's not the world blowing up.
Well, the Skyfall
and him
trailer-
escaping on a jetpack.
Skyfall had like
on a
loads
rocket
of
plane.
Imagine if that happened.
To be fair, the world is not enough. Oh, no, sorry, Die Another Day comes pretty close to that.
No, I know, but
What
you
is-
couldn't imagine that with Daniel
imagine,
Craig.
imagine that at the end of the new one. It's like Sam Mendes lost his mind. At the end of it, he gets into a little buggy and then just blasts off. See you later, bitches! And the world just blows up.
I don't think Roger Moore ever said that either.
Oh,
was his sign-off line.
if you go back, he said it all the time. He said it all the time.
Well, what was the Bond movie where they had the scene where someone drove by in a car and they made that pigeon do a double take, but they've taken the same. Do you remember this in a Bond film?
I
It's
thought you
the
were going to
worst
say,
thing.
what's that Bond movie? You were like laughing your head off. I thought you were going to say, what's the Bond movie where that person drives by in the car and kills his wife? Because that happens.
Really?
James Bond gets married in a Bond movie.
I remember that. Was
What?
a boat involved in the murder?
It's the world's not enough.
Was there a boat involved
no.
in the murder?
he had
Oh,
he held
sorry,
a
what
gun.
I'm about. It's in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the Lazenby one. At the end, he
Right.
gets married to Diana Rigg.
Ah.
Really?
Anyway,
What happened to her?
she died.
Oh,
she-
the boat. Forgot about
And
the
she's
boat.
in Game of Thrones now.
Who is she playing the Game of Thrones?
I can't remember her name, like all. And the flower, the woman, the old, the Tyrell, the old lady with the
Oh, right,
headdress,
yeah,
who's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
badass.
Yep,
Sneaky
yep.
flower
Yeah.
woman. is that what I
Marjorie
call her?
Tyrell's grandma.
Yep. Gotcha.
Anyway, we've wandered slightly.
Anyway, Spectre, cannot wait. What else is red hotty this week?
Red Hottie this week is the game Journey, one of it was our game of the year when it came out. I
think it might have been,
2013.
Yeah.
That's probably wrong. Like 2012,
2012,
2013, something like
I
that.
think.
Excellent game. It is now been remastered and it's out on PS4. It came out this week and it looks amazing.
I never got to play.
I was going to say, you're an
So this is
Xboxy,
the,
aren't you?
yeah.
and this is the predicament. There's so many new PS4 owners who weren't part of PS3 era games at all, and they've
So
never
true.
played this. And I think it's aimed at them because I don't know, because I thought I bought it and I've heard that it's cross-buy. So if you
Yeah.
own it for PS3, you
Yeah.
could download it. Maybe I had it on a different file because I couldn't re-download
Well,
it.
but I had the same issue. Yeah, but then again, I've had two PSNs, so I think I had it on my other PS.
Fancy.
Oh,
It's got two PSNs.
No,
on one.
I forgot what password was.
business,
Yeah, you got
business
that.
and pleasure.
It's
Yeah.
like your first family.
And
you lost your house keys. Not going back to them.
Can't get in.
That's pretty much what happened.
Start again.
But I think it was registered to an old email address as well, and it was just like
Too much
oh,
hassle.
God.
A lot of hassle in the modern
exactly.
world, isn't there?
Exactly.
Yeah, it looks spectacular and it is one of the most kind of, I'm not a religious person whatsoever, but it is the closest I think games have got to a spiritual experience.
It's an
I know that's an
amazing-
incredibly
You're really
elaborate...
selling it to me.
That's
But
an
like-
elaborate thing to say, and I realise that, but it's true. The first time I played it in 3 hours, and by the end I was I was crying, tears rolling down my cheeks. And I think I've told it, I'll tell it in a potted way, but I've told this story on the podcast before. My old flatmate never played video games, grew up not with video games in his household. His mum and dad weren't into that stuff. I thought they rotted the mind. And then I came home one night and he was just playing Journey, and he turned around and was like, "What is this? This is amazing." And it like he had a powerful impact even on someone who didn't really play games, because it's quite a simple game. And what you do, you just try and walk to the mountain in the distance. But it's really beautiful, and it looks amazing on PS4.
It looks really cool.
You should, I've got it on my PS4. Like, you should definitely.
I really don't even know a lot about the game aside from a very brief
right.
premise. Maybe that's what would be good.
Yeah,
good to
and
do
it's
something.
what, 3-4 hours long. It's not,
it's
it's not that long at all.
No.
Oh, I
It's
love
very,
that. I could just tackle that.
incredible.
It's a very condensed experience.
But like, there are moments that are of sheer beauty in it, both in terms of visual.
Similar to Rocket League.
It's similar.
Similar styles.
Good, great multiplayer.
Yeah.
No, it really does have a great multiplayer.
Oh, it does?
Yes.
Is it split screen though?
No,
is
it's not.
Similar controls.
Tying it back.
But you fly, you fly.
But
you
it-
boost up and then
That is true. Yes.
And hit a
basically
giant ball.
Rocket
But
I've ruined
you
it.
just appear in somebody else's game, and there's no talk or anything like that. But you just communicate in these kind of weird sounds.
Cool.
And
so just like me in real life.
Exactly.
Rory's done in the studio.
You should definitely try it out.
I will.
The last red hotty thing this week is that Luke went down to Brighton last week and interviewed.
That's the news.
That's the news.
Yeah, he had a lovely time.
Nice time. The weather was good for him, which I'm very pleased about. But he interviewed Randy Pitchford, who is the leader of Gearbox. I don't know what his job title is.
He's the charismatic
leader.
leader of Gearbox.
Yeah.
No, he's like chief, like head of it.
Just chief.
He's the chief.
That's
he's,
cool.
he's the boss man.
Master Chief.
Anyway, one of the things that he confirmed is that they are working on a proper sequel to Brothers in Arms.
Thank goodness.
And I'm not talking about the Dire Straits album, because that'd just be weird.
He's just a big fan. He wants to see it through.
Because a few years ago at E3, they announced Furious 4, which was a kind of a riff on Brothers in Arms, a kind of like comedic take. And like one of the characters from that has since become somebody in Battleborn. But the thing, I love Brothers in Arms, and technically it wasn't a great game in terms of looks, but it really captured like the spirit of being part of a team and working together really, really well without it being like a Call of Duty co-op experience.
Yeah,
because basically what it was is that you had players that you could switch between and order other teams to kind of lay down suppressing fire so you could move around the side. Did you play it at all?
I played this. I played a demo of it in a game store.
Right.
So that was the only experience I had,
Right.
and I loved it so much that I then asked for it, and my parents got mixed up and bought me Call of Duty. So.
Which Call of Duty?
Big Red 1. So it was quite good. It was a World War II. I like that game.
Call of Duty 2 was good on Xbox.
That is 2, isn't it?
But it wasn't called. It was. Anyway.
I think it was 2. Whatever one. Whatever one 2
I thought
was.
Big Red One was an offshoot on a different format. I don't know. Anyway. But Call of Duty 2 was very good.
Yeah, but I did not get to experience Brothers in Arms, unfortunately.
I've just been looking up something for the next story, and I tuned back in and you said Big Red One offshoot. I have literally no idea what you're talking about.
It's not a power fountain, which is good. But look, I'm excited by that, and I know Gearbox has been a little bit hit and miss. Slipped a gear on some of its games.
Nice, Alex, nice.
Kind of boxing out their audience.
Anyway,
Come on, just kind of just sailed right over that one.
Next one.
But I hope that they make the game that I really, really want, and I'm sure they can. Because I think the problem with them is that they used to have quite a diverse catalogue of games that they made.
Yeah.
And now it's just Borderlands, and I hope it's just not Borderlands and Borderlands and more Borderlands.
We're going to play Battleborn at Gamescom, so we'll get back to you on that.
That's quite interesting.
As well. So obviously Red Hottie were the good stories. The not so good stories is Cold Botty.
So what exactly does this even mean?
So
What are you saying?
Cold body. What's a body?
What's a botty?
What's a botty?
What's a body? Hey, what is this?
What is it?
A bottom.
You're
A butt.
You're derriere.
Cold
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
Butt. I've
Bot.
never heard that. Body.
You're posterior.
Bottom.
I thought you meant like body, like a full, like Red Hottie, cold body. That
Well,
would
it's
have been a better
part
one.
of your body.
Well, I guess. All
Your
right. Well,
body.
the first cold body is.
You saying it like
I'm
it's
not
like an
going back.
Indian
I'm not going
surname?
back. I'm too stubborn. I'll never change. Sword in the Stone, the Disney live-action remake. Does anyone need this? Does anyone want this?
They said that about Cinderella, and that was a really good live-action remake.
But
I'll have you know.
Did you go with your daughter?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I went on my own.
That's weird.
I love Prince Charming.
Oh, one day I'll lose my slipper. But this is like a whole different thing. I feel like Cinderella is such a classic. It kind of lends itself to, like, anyone can imagine that being told in a live action format.
Yeah.
Sword in the Stone?
Who's doing it?
What do you mean?
Who's directing it?
Disney. I don't know any more specifics than that. That's all I know.
It's your story.
Disney's. Well, I found out I was going to be on the podcast like 40 minutes ago. But I mean, like, there's so many like different parts of this that I don't think will work very well. I mean, because so much of. Are you going to whip something out? So many innuendos.
So many innuendos there. Well, no, I'm going to I'm going to present a fact.
Okay.
So Sword and Stone is happening, but also we have The Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin prequel, Dumbo, Mulan, Winnie the Pooh, Pinocchio, Night on Bald Mountain, Prince Charming, and Tinkerbell, and also sequels to Alice in Wonderland and Maleficent. All live action.
They're
Disney
all live action.
Yeah.
All
Oh
live
my
action.
God.
So this
Cinderella.
is part of like.
So there's a bit of a thing on, not a thing at all. I saw some people on Twitter at the weekend, and like people were like, because Ant-Man had just come out, and the week before was Comic-Con, and people were like saying superhero movies are strangling the blockbuster.
Yeah.
Just as superhero comics strangled comic books in general for a long time, they're doing the same to Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I kind of said, well, Fast and Furious and Jurassic World are the two biggest movies of the year.
Yeah.
And if you look at the list, Minions is up there, Cinderella is fifth.
Yeah.
A lot of animation, and Maleficent was huge the year before. And that's why.
Surprising.
And that's
Yeah,
why.
it's so
Like,
weird.
I think superhero films dominate our conversation, and there's a lot in production, but we know what they're coming out until like 2020,
Yeah.
so it feels like more than there is. But there's lots of other stuff happening.
Wow, I didn't realise they were all live action.
Yeah, they're all, and then
gosh.
that's the thing. Well, Cinderella, it's like this is the same with across Hollywood, because you know, if you know something works, you do more of it. It's just like, and you know, Cinderella's the fifth biggest movie of the year so far. They're going to make more of them. Maleficent was really successful.
And is it because obviously, if you look at Pixar and Disney Animation Studios with Frozen and what's the Big Hero 6 this year?
Inside Out.
Yeah.
Obviously, Inside Out.
Yeah.
But is that also because, you know, to separate it from those as well?
Well, I guess so. Well, Disney traditional animation
Is it cheaper to do a live action film than it is to do an animated film?
I can't imagine.
depends.
I don't know.
It depends, I guess. Quicker.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely quicker.
Yeah,
So that's obviously a fact.
Although, surely it's not now, is it? Like with CG.
I still think,
No, it'd still be.
I still
quicker
think
to do live
Pixar
action.
take years to do a
maybe,
film, like 3 or 4.
When you hear those stories about like Toy Story animators who spent months working on what is essentially like a couple seconds of a scene, unbelievable. Imagine watching that in the theater and you're like, "There's what I worked on for 3. It's done."
Oh, you went to the loo. Cheers.
Yeah.
Over. Yeah, they're making loads of them, but you know, it's like anything.
And I didn't even think
will continue to do stuff until it stops being successful, and then they'll move on. Hollywood has no attachment to any genre.
Yeah.
It'll do what people
Well,
see.
I almost feel like tying into this kind of comparison, doing this Sword in the Stone live action remake is kind of the equivalent of, say, Marvel doing a remake, like making a movie of one of their like lesser known comic book heroes.
Yeah.
Because previously, I mean, I know a lot of people that love Sword in the Stone, but I also know an equal amount of people who have never seen it, compared to say Cinderella.
I think
you know?
I think
I've
it's
not
a
actually seen it.
Actually,
Yeah.
I think about it, it's a really cool thing that they're doing in a way, because they're kind of adapting themselves, taking something that they know was popular once, that has the elements, has a bit of like recognizability. People kind of know what a lot of this stuff is.
Yeah.
You're not like starting out with a brand new concept. People know the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
And you're kind of pulling on that, but it's like the Jungle Book, but not the Jungle Book you know. So it's
Yeah.
kind of, you're offsetting risk again by having something that's bankable.
Yeah.
Um,
The thing that I find weird in all of this, and I was talking to Chris about it, is that, like something like Beauty and the Beast. How do you make that a live action film? Because obviously there's talking candlesticks. And
I never watched the
stuff
TV
like that.
show with Ron Perlman. He played
Oh,
the
no,
Beast.
I didn't
Apparently
know
it's
there
quite good.
wasn't. Right, okay.
It was like early 90s where he played
Right.
the Beast, and it was a bit more like Lois and Clark, they had adventures, but apparently it was really good.
I played the Beast in my High School Musical.
Did you?
Yeah.
Is that
I had
your
to wear a
nickname?
big face mask and a Tina Turner wig.
Why did you ever take it off?
I did at the end when I became the
The
prince.
Beast.
Yeah. Sorry. Too literal. Well, one of the other reasons that I don't want this to happen is because if you've seen the movie, you haven't.
I
Danny,
kind of
you
know
long
the
time
story.
ago.
Yeah.
There is
Spoilers.
kind of the villain in it called Mad Madam Mim.
Oh.
She terrified me as a child. and I do not want that to come back in live action form. I buried
Madam
it. Do you
Min.
remember
That's
her?
hard to say.
She has that little song when she's like, I can be small as a mouse, and then she can be like huge, and then she becomes like a dragon, and awful. She's terrifying. Really scary stuff. So I don't know how they're going to do that, but some kids are going to cry.
Was Enchanted the kind of first of these kind of?
Well, that's more. That's more self-referential.
Yeah.
That's very self-aware.
film.
Of what it
Enchanted
is.
is brilliant.
Yeah.
It's really good, and that's got a lot of music written by like the guy who did a lot of the classic early '90s Disney movies, like Little Mermaid and stuff.
Yeah,
I think he does.
Yeah, Scarlett loves.
That's
that
a really
film
good
and
movie.
loves the soundtrack as well.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess who knows.
Yeah, and it's cool because Disney is still using the traditional animation. Yeah, it's gone to CG.
Yeah.
But they're doing them to like do new stories.
Yeah.
Tangled, Frozen, and they continue to do that.
Frozen 2.
Original
Can't
story.
wait.
Can be an original story.
Can't wait.
Could be The Godfather Part 2. Who knows?
No.
Yeah.
Everything melts. All right. Next up. This is everyone's a bit cold body on this one. Actually, by the looks of the costumes, it looks like Olivia Munn might have a cold body. He's not wearing much. So it's the X-Men Apocalypse costumes.
Yeah.
Entertainment Weekly have been debuting loads of new stuff. They did
Debuting or debuting?
It's debuting. I don't know why I said
Debuting?
Sorry, it's actually debuting. Entertainment Weekly debuted a lot of X-Men Apocalypse, and they did the BVS stuff the other week. So this is the one that's getting a lot of flack. It is Oscar Isaac as the villain Apocalypse.
Doesn't look like him.
Oh no.
So
I was wondering how they were going to do Apocalypse. I was hoping it wasn't that.
I don't know what Apocalypse looks like.
Bigger.
You look it up. So Apocalypse, big villain in Marvel Universe, specifically an adversary of the X-Men. He's the first mutant. What they're playing on in the movie, he basically, at the end of Days of Future Past, there's an Easter egg where he's like raising the pyramids.
Right.
And he's the first mutant, and over time, different cults have worshipped him. He's been perceived to be a god.
That's cool.
But he's much smaller. In the comics, he's huge.
That's what I was gonna say.
Really wide, but
Really wide.
But he's like,
same geezer or something.
I wouldn't trust him. I'm telling you that.
Okay.
And it's just they've more freely adapted it. I think the lighting's maybe not favourable. So people saying he looks more purple than blue. That's Apocalypse.
I know it is.
So that's him. Well, just double checking. And people have kind of taken against the
He's
fact that he
very
looks
purple.
quite purple in this,
Yeah.
but sometimes like photos of stuff don't look.
No.
In the movie, things look different. And Chris Tilley saw the Fox panel. He saw the footage where Oscar Isaac, which hasn't been released officially, saw it in action, and he said like nobody said anything. Like everyone liked the look of it
good.
in motion. Yeah, he's not in it much.
But what was the other one? Was it Quicksilver that everybody hated?
Everyone hated the picture of Quicksilver on the front cover of Empire.
Yeah.
And whatever you think of that outfit, like he wears that in one scene in the movie.
Yeah.
And in the movie, I don't think you would have called it out.
no.
It was a
not at
terrible front cover.
But in the movie, it's a good look.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't stand out. Like he's gone for a look in the movie with a Pink Floyd t-shirt, but when you see him in the lift, it's not like you go, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I know.
Because
I
with
agree.
it, it's got like lighting and cinematography applied.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the costumes are very outlandish.
Yeah.
And Bryan Singer has hinted that because this is set in the 80s,
was gonna
they
say,
can
it's got a bit
finally
of a-
do the ridiculous X-Men comics of the early 90s, like the Jim Lee stuff
Yeah.
from that era, because 80s fashion kind of allows you to be a bit more extravagant, and maybe that's how they can get away with it. So this is almost looks exactly like Jim Lee's version of Psylocke's costume. I'm showing a picture. It's Alex and Rory.
Yeah, sorry, we're
It's
totally
quite,
neglecting her.
Quite revealing.
It was quite cosplay.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? It kind of looks
But
like
it's like that's
Mortal
the thing,
Kombat-y.
because I guess you see cosplayers go for the look that's in the comics,
I guess so,
and they've
yeah.
really just gone for that. Some people don't really like it. I think it's going to look different from every other X-Men movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to see that in action. That's what I'm saying.
So jury is out on Apocalypse.
Yeah, the cold body is out.
Okay.
And said to Olivia.
Yes.
So next up on the cold list is, so I had a problem. So I've been doing a bit of traveling. I was on my holidays last week, which means I've been up in my 3DS games and my mobile games. And I kind of had something weird happen to me that was a bit too far. So, if you're on the internet a lot, which we are, you playing online games and things like that,
Oh, yeah, big
you're going to
time,
get banner
big
ads.
time.
Yep.
It's just a thing you're going to have to deal with. And, we're no stranger to having whatever it is, cookies, logged, data saved.
Oh, we're no strangers to intrusive advertising, my friend.
Oh, exactly. So
This podcast is brought to you by Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's not. It's not.
It'd be good if it was.
I'd love that. Just a little bowl in the middle we could pick at.
I would definitely eat some Kentucky Fried
know,
Chicken right
right?
now. Look, Colonel Sanders,
greasy
if you're
fingers.
listening,
If anyone who listens to the podcast is from KFC, hook us up.
Imagine how gross that would be, though, eating into the mics and stuff.
No, we do it. We'd have a
do it.
break.
Someone's talking.
We'd
and
have a
you
break
just
all the
never
time.
turn
Play a bit of
away.
Rocket
have
League.
a chicken break. Oh, imagine the controllers.
Oh no!
You slip it
Oh.
everywhere.
What's your favourite meal from
KFC.
KFC.
Oh,
Family bucket.
Solo.
You can't go wrong with just chicken and chips.
I've done it before, I'm not gonna lie.
That would be it. It would just be chicken and chips. But
I do like a variety meal, so you get the little spicy
that's
wings
what I
as
say,
well.
variety meal.
Yeah.
Because
What
that's
about
all the types of the chicken.
The
It's-
zinger
it's-
burgers
it-
and stuff? They're really
Because that's
good.
all the natural parts of the chicken. You get the spicy bits, and you get the little bits without bones.
You get the cold body and the spicy
Chickens
bits
are
as well.
amazing.
So basically, I was playing.
Alex looked really wistfully into the distance then.
KFC. It's been so long since I've had a KFC.
If
cannot
you've not
tell you.
had one for a long time and then have one, it is the saltiest thing you'll ever eat. It's amazing, but it's so
should do
salty
a
you can
video on
see
that.
through time.
It's like pork scratchings. Ugh,
Right.
can't do it. So
What were you talking about?
Yeah.
the saltiest thing of all time.
Seriously
That's
though,
all they
seriously
call
though,
it.
if someone listens and you work for KFC, write in IGN_UK feedback at IGN.com.
Okay, so intrusive internet ads. Back to we've gone
Yes.
full circle. I was playing a game, and it's kind of a bit of a low class game. So a lot of the ads that popped up were a bit weird, like poorly made. And then one popped up was
What
for
game was it?
it's like one of those coin games where you put like virtual coins on the thing and it pushes them down.
Oh my
I'm
god!
not proud of it. My 3DS had run out of battery and I had nothing
You
left
realize
to
it's a
do.
virtual
Must be
Blackpool.
something better than that to
It's
play.
really addictive. It's so much fun.
Like he's like knocking his iPhone.
I almost shook it once, and I was like, "Why would that work?" Because then I could just tilt it up and they'd all pour off. But anyway, an ad for Google popped up at the bottom, and I was like, "That's a little strange," because it's the first like actual legitimate ad that came up, and it was one of those ads for Cortana or whatever their voice search system is, and the text that appeared at the bottom of the screen, someone was searching into the Google bar, was, Cortana, when does flight, and then inserted my flight number that I had taken to get over there,
Wow.
in the little bar, and
Right.
I was like, that's really weird. That might be
Yeah.
a coincidence. And then it filtered down and came up again and said, Cortana, find me transport from Belfast International Airport.
Really?
And I was like, this is too far. That's too weird.
That's excessive.
Because I've had it
Wow, that's
before, you buy something on Amazon and then you get some pop-ups, that kind of thing.
I know what you mean.
That's-
That is annoying.
That's too far though. I have no idea how they would even get like that information. It's really crazy. Like, have you guys ever had something like that goes too far?
Not a specific like kind of flight number or anything like
Yeah.
that. Or no, I don't think so. But you do get like if you're looking for holidays in specific areas, you get sort of like hire a car when you're in
It's weird.
Spain or
like,
wherever.
I
it
guess.
might be.
I guess also you're probably so used to it now. When you go to Facebook and you're like, "Yep, those are those trainers I was just looking at."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird.
Who clicks on that stuff? No. Like, well, I never have done.
You never done it before?
No.
My favorite is when people used to take. It's a thing. I can't remember, there was one famous incident of it. I think it was it not like an MP or someone who like really like took a screenshot and said, "I think it's disgusting. Facebook is serving me all these ads for like Russian escorts," and I was like,
It's based on
"That's
your
that's based on your search history."
God, that's so bad. Poor guy. Like I've done it before. Like sometimes on Facebook, it'll pop up with Russian escorts.
escort.
Yeah, I'll just have a little browse.
Little
Get her
Rory.
a flight over to Belfast International.
This is miserable.
It's amazing. Nailed
Yeah,
it.
it's alright. I can do that.
If it's like sometimes like it pops for like like nerdy video game shirts and something, and I'll be like, ooh, that looks, or like a Zelda thing, and I'll be like, all right, I'll check this out. But then you're kind of just feeding into it, right? Because then you're just gonna get
Don't do
even
it,
more
man.
and
Don't
more.
do it.
So I don't know. It's weird. It's something that we just kind of like. At least I've just gotten used to over time as these ads. But that was a bit far. I mean, I don't really do ad blocker or anything like that. But maybe it's time, guys. Maybe it's time.
no,
to
it's
invest.
not. Alex has got 2 kids to feed.
Yeah.
Well,
IGN will close if you do that.
No. Or will I start getting pop-ups for ad blockers? Like,
Oh.
see, like Inception.
Wow.
Oh.
That'd be crazy, wouldn't it?
Is your wife
Thought for the day.
Is your wife dead?
Yeah,
Ooh.
who knows?
Who knows?
I hope she's not.
Ooh. But what Rory's?
My Russian escort.
Maybe they're just two old people
Yeah.
on the train track.
She's
Ooh.
Let's move over to a reader feedback, shall we? Rory Powers is first
I'm
up
on for
for
number
bat.
one.
Rory's written in.
You know, I just found out last week that these are numbered.
I need more mic training.
I didn't know.
What did you think the number at the top was?
I didn't even see it. I'm so scared I'm going to pronounce a name wrong that I'm just trying to focus so much. Robin Owen.
I think you're all right with that one.
Robin Owen. Hello, Robin Owen. Hello, and Duck
Just say
Hunt.
it loads. I've got this one.
Thanks, Robin Owen.
Owen.
Love the podcast, said Robin Owen. It's
Oh,
great to
Robin.
listen to when making breakfast in the morning. That's kind of cool. I kind of like commute with podcasts. and
I always
things
like when
that.
people write in and say what they do when they listen to the podcast. I was a guy who used
Not all
to
the
commute
time.
in New York. They used to listen to it. People do their
See, I think a
drives.
commute is fairly standard.
Yeah,
Making
but when it's in an interesting place.
Shower.
yeah. Can you hear that?
While making
showering.
love.
I cannot ejaculate unless I'm listening to Gav's voice.
How good was last night? And it's basically, what point does it end? If it ends on feedback, if it's out this week, and it's been a good.
It's been a good session.
Oh, you only just got to cold body.
Hello and well. Oh, no.
Yeah, not in the intro.
It's done.
The music is exciting.
Okay, with
What
the
does
recent
Robin Owen have to say?
Robin Owen is saying with the recent addition of Game Preview to Xbox One, which is essentially Microsoft's answer to Steam Early Access, how long do you guys think it will take until we get an unplayable pile of garbage, e.g., Air Control, The Stomping Land, and H1Z1 when it launched? Also, I read that only 25% of Early Access games have released. Do you think this will also be the case on Xbox One?
It's early access stuff, man. I think sometimes it's awesome. Like when the game is just like in a decent playable state, and what you're doing is making a meaningful contribution to the development of it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I want access to early access, so you have access before they've even made it.
That'd be great. VIP
Yeah.
Early Access?
Super early.
You just basically you can just speak to the developers while they're brainstorming, going, "It's rubbish."
Just Skype in.
Just Skype in there. What? Like the big
No.
giant head.
Yeah.
Nah, it's rubbish, mate.
That'd be awesome.
Well, enough games already are shipped without being fully up to scratch.
Yeah,
I would argue.
too many.
So
Imagine if day one patching existed in other walks of life. Like buying a sandwich, you're about to eat it. Oh, here's your day one ham.
well, like
Just day one ham.
The course.
Here's the first chapter of this book.
Yeah. Sorry, that bus got loads of typos in. Can you give me a half an hour with some Tipex and a biro?
Well, you kind of get that, like, if you go to the bar, you're like, can I have early access of this pint and this pint? And you can get, like, little tasters. And you're like, ooh, I'll go for that one.
Well, it's like a demo.
Yeah, demo, not
Yeah.
early access.
Yeah.
I guess.
Early access is just like you blow it, like
Breaking in before it opens.
Early
and
access.
drinking
Alex
from
just
the
passed
taps.
out below.
It's before it's fully brewed. It's not quite ready.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like-
just eat some oats.
It's basically licking a hop.
it's hops. It's not oats.
Damn it.
What are you drinking?
Oatmeal beer. You guys don't drink?
Look, he
Beer meal?
styled that out, didn't he?
Yeah.
Hey, next up, Jack Waterlow. Hey, Jack. I'm currently listening to the podcast while traveling through Vietnam.
This is a
interesting.
thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Does that beat breakfast, though?
It's cool, isn't it?
Who knows?
Hey, awesome. I was thinking about games set in great places like this and wanted to know which real world settings, modern or historical, you had found particularly interesting or imaginative. A personal favourite of mine is Max Payne 3 Sao Paulo setting. Jack. He said the last two emails he sent in haven't read out, so I'm losing faith. Got it.
Restored the faith.
Yep.
Yes. Nailed it.
I would love to see a proper Vietnam War game.
Is that tying in?
This is Jack's there. It's
I think
like,
it's
yeah.
poorly
But
timed.
God, there was I can't remember.
Black Ops is
Black
set.
Ops.
Yeah, I guess so.
It had a
but
good,
like,
good
a
time.
proper.
Is it just too... I guess like
maybe.
even Modern Warfare is like kind of on the note. Like, you don't want to be too recent.
Bit fresh.
But then what point does that come that it's okay?
Yeah.
Like, I thought about this because the other day I saw it's like a Titanic bouncy castle. Like, it's okay now to do stuff like that.
Right.
Why is that
Was
okay?
it deflated?
But it's like, why is that okay? And there's
Yeah.
like Titanic crisps. Have you seen them?
No.
But imagine like, I'm not trying to like be funny for the sake of it, but like imagine that with like 9/11 or 7/7, like something like which is another atrocity.
I'm not even going to say.
No,
some of the
but
things.
like, it's a serious point. What's the point where
It's
it
just
becomes
time, yeah.
it becomes time? But I can't imagine that ever being okay. But I imagine people who lived through the Titanic would say that would never have been okay to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've gotten very serious there. But Sao Paulo is great in Max Payne 3.
Yeah.
Everybody's gone to the Rapture coming up. I think that's a really cool setting.
Yeah, I'm looking
and I
forward to
like that because it's obviously less spectacular in a way. Because it's so banal. It's very pretty, like it's English village in the 80s. But you just don't see like everyday places that often in video games. Everything's like neon or exaggerated. So I'm really looking forward to like exploring people's back rooms upstairs.
Ooh.
I'd love to see another World War II game as well. It's been a long time since we've had a decent... Because I know there were too many of
with
them.
the new graphics.
With the new graphics.
That's why everyone wanted World at War instead of
I'd be
Black
really
Ops.
happy for Call of Duty 2 to be remade, remastered. I'd be happy.
Big Red 1. I'm going to find it out afterwards, which one we're talking about. Yeah.
There you go. I've got an email from Kyle Cheddar Marmite. There is a reason why I said that. He says, I've been hearing marvellous things about this year's Secret Cinema. Unfortunately, it's looking unlikely that I'll be able to go this year. Did you go?
No, he did.
I did. It's amazing.
I was in America.
Well, unfortunately, he can't go.
Sorry, I probably should have said that. It was
done
crap.
for bragging.
It was so bad. Gav was there. Ugh.
He has a question.
Oh, sorry.
If you were going to organise a Secret Cinema event, what film would you choose and how would you theme it? Do you want his suggestion first, what you think?
Yes.
So he would do Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, and he'd theme it around Helm's Deep, which is obviously the finale.
Amazing. At the end, you can just set off the sprinklers, and everyone just stands there in the rain.
I tell you what, like even like the Shire, that'd be a really nice place.
I mean,
Actually,
that'd be really pleasant. Like,
I reckon you would start in the Shire, and then maybe you could,
end up in
go
Mordor.
Mordor.
Like, late in the night when it gets a bit dark. Like, mate, we've had too much to drink. Where are we? We're in Mordor. No, fucking again.
Eyes staring at me.
This place is awful. Get an Uber. There are no Ubers.
Get an eagle. Sorry.
Get an Eagle. It's going to cost us. We'll split it. It's surge charge for the Eagle, and so on.
Eagle is a great name for a cab company.
Eagle.
I'm going to order an Eagle.
It could be their horn.
Just swooping in.
Yeah.
All right, I'm swooping in just around the corner.
I had eagle wings in my car in Rocket League.
Indiana Jones.
I was just going to say that.
Unlucky!
For me. Damn it. Indiana Jones would make a great one.
Yeah.
You gotta have a hallway and roll boulders down it, and you have to go at intervals. I may be thinking too big here. Whips at the door.
Sphinxes and
Yeah. Sphincters. Egyptians.
So I chose Raiders of the Lost Ark. What would you choose?
You have to go anti-clockwise now because I need a new one.
We'll think of Psycho. You stay in a motel overnight.
You've done that already.
I did that with Bates Motel. It was quite good, but it was a bit ropey in places.
Okay.
We went into an upstairs room and there was a middle-aged actress just putting on her tights, and she's like, "Oh, hello," not in that voice,
all right,
an American like Midwestern.
And then what happened?
And then she was just like, "Oh, close the door." She's like, "Oh, have you seen my son Norman?" All right.
Did you actually stay in the hotel?
Yeah, stayed overnight.
And what did anything
cool.
happen?
No, there was blood in the shower.
Oh, is that it?
That's it.
Wasn't feeling well.
Shouldn't have had that coming.
Shouldn't have had that little sausage roll. Exorcist.
Wow.
And then you just got like
You're going really dark.
And then it's just like you just hours trying to exercise this girl, and she's being sick on you.
Friday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was describing a typical Friday night for me and my missus.
Come on then, pals.
Bond. James Bond.
Which
Imagine
one?
that. All of them.
All of them.
Man with the golden gun, or golden eye, or Goldfinger. Golden.
Rory, just say name.
Golden Bond.
What's the
Gold
theme?
member.
Gold member.
Gold sphincter.
What's the theme?
Bond gadgets.
Jack, I'm so sorry.
I'm still thinking about KFC, if we're being honest.
Anyway, it was Carl.
It's a Kentucky Fried Chicken movie.
It was Carl that wrote in, not Jack, with that question.
Oh, I'm apologising to Jack. Jack had to sit through all that. It's ruined his holiday in Vietnam.
Oh, Jurassic Park. That would be amazing.
How would you theme it?
Dinosaurs.
All right, this year, can we ensure Rory is a part of our Christmas party organisation team? And then they come in, Rory comes in, got a big idea. What are you going to do, Rory, for the Christmas party? What theme? Christmas theme.
How you gonna decorate it?
Snow.
What's that? Snow.
Christmas.
Santa, elves, done.
You could get in a gyro ball and be rolled about. That'd be kind of cool. Like a tour of the park. Yeah, so that'd be great. And then one escapes, and then you see the really realistic raptor costumes that you can get that they scared Chris Pratt with. Bunch of dudes running around in them. That'd be terrifying.
It plans itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Makes my work a little easier.
Thank you very much, Carl, for your feedback, and apologies for Rory's pathetic answer. That's it for feedback. We've got one more thing to talk about. Last year, all of you lovely people who listen to this podcast help us win a Games Media Award. Well, they're coming back in October, and the People's Choice Award is once again open to votes by the public. And we will, of course, be putting this podcast forward for that vote. No details as yet, but just wanted to give you a heads up, and obviously your feedback would be eternally appreciated. And, well, we may even do something, because it'll be Podcast 300 will be just before that as well, won't we?
Ooh.
Oh,
What a place to get people excited.
it's gonna be
We have no
amazing.
news on Podcast 300 either. But we are talking about what
That's
we
what
can
Tilly's
potentially
doing
do.
all week while we're all in Gamescom.
Is he?
Yeah, he's going to buy some party poppers.
I think he's probably just going to test out venues. Just go
Oh,
around.
yeah.
Booze.
How-
Get early
how-
access. Early access.
How
to
big
the
was
venues,
it?
yeah.
Well, it felt bigger later on.
Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, obviously, the
And a little
Rocket
eagle-
League podcast will also be nominated for an award.
Of course.
And then an eagle took him back to the show.
and then maybe Gav will actually win an award this year because he's part of our podcast rather than his other podcast.
Ooh.
Under the belt.
Thank you
This is
so
all
much.
gold, isn't it, this week?
Thank you so much for
It's all
listening
gold.
to this award-winning podcast. And
You can nominate this one. Imagine that, shambles.
red hottie or cold hottie.
Well, that's when you get to proper games journalism. And you've got
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks as always for listening, and we'll be back same time next week. So until then, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.